Melanie Martinez. High school sweethearts.
Well, she looks like a Disney character, no?
She does.
Like, especially in this scene here.
She could easily be like an actress.
Yeah.
Can we just be honest? These are the requirements. If you think you can be my one and only true love, you must promise to love me. And damn it, if you fuck me over, I will rip your fucking face apart.
I love how she finishes the sentence, or like she stops before finishing it so it can mean like two things. Where she's like, I want you to fuck me over. Right? Like that stop in between.
Yeah. It's very... it's poetic.
Yeah.
I love the way that she uses like the chalkboard, her breathing. Like it's not just her voice she uses.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very like, she's like an actress. Like that's kind of how she comes off to me. Mm-hmm. Like she's performing. I mean, she is performing obviously, but she sings like she's performing, like she's on stage.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, she is on stage, but she performs like it. And I don't think like a lot of artists perform in that way. So she's very theatrical.
Mm-hmm.
Step one, you must accept that I'm a little out my mind. Step two, this is a waste if you can't walk me down the finish line. Step three, give me passion. Don't make fun of fashion. Step four, give me more, more. If you can't handle a heart like mine, don't waste your time with me. If you're not down to bleed, no. If you can't handle the choking, the biting, the loving, the smother until you can't handle it, no more.
Hey, no more. 3LW. No more. I don't know.
I'm just talking about.
You can't handle it, no more. Go home. Can we just be honest? These are the requirements. If you think you can be my one and only true love, you must promise to love me. And damn it, if you fuck me over, I will rip your fucking face apart. High school sweethearts, line up and trying to waste my...
She's so convincing too. Like even like her facial expressions, she's really good at controlling her facial expressions to seem like, if she wants to look chaotic, she does a really good job looking like it, right? And then a lot of times artists really do have some, I would say, like chaotic features. They are a little bit like off the edge, you know? But she does a really good job bringing that out.
She does. Like sometimes she comes off as not fully human. Like sometimes she comes off as like a twisted doll almost.
I thought you were gonna say like a shape-shifting reptilian. But yeah, she does a good job. And I just like, even with the hair, like half of it being blonde, half of it being black, just depicts like these personalities that she has, like two parts of her.
Yeah, the light side and the dark side.
Yeah.
Over, I will rip your fucking face apart. High school sweethearts, line up, they're trying to waste my time. High school sweethearts, shut 5, you can't be scared to show me off and hold my hand. Step 6, if you can't put in work, I don't know what you think this fucking is. Step 7, this one goes to 11. If you cheat, you will die, die. If you can't handle a heart like mine, don't waste your time with me. If you're not down to bleed, no, oh. If you can't handle the choking, the biting, the loving, the smother until you can't handle it no more, no more. Go home. Can we just be honest? These are the requirements. If you think you can be my one and only true love, you must promise to love.
I love that she's so upfront about it, and typically these characteristics of like smothering and biting and choking, it's normally not characteristics that people tend to share upfront. And the fact that she's kind of presenting it and basically saying like, if you can't handle it, like, you're not right for me. And I love this approach because I think just from personal experience, like, we kind of fall victim into the way that we should be, whether it's in relationships or wherever you find yourself. And I love that this song offers a different way of looking at, you know, finding people that fit you versus you fitting for other people.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's a different way of looking at a relationship. I think generally society has a way of perceiving like what a healthy relationship should look like. Where in her case, she's like, I want my toxic boyfriend. Like, I don't care my toxic relationship. This is exactly how I want it, whether it seems normal or abnormal or healthy or unhealthy. And I think sometimes shit like that works. You know, it's not, you know, like there's a big emphasis on like healthy, balanced lifestyles and relationships. But sometimes that's not always the formula for what makes it work for you. Like, some people are naturally obsessive. Like, they're like that with work. They're like that with relationships. And if they could find someone that works with, that might be fine, you know? And some people have to be a little more balanced. So I think in her case, this is like essentially her, like, as you said, her confession to what she wants. And she's not taking anything less.
Yeah, because I think traditionally we kind of label women who present these qualities as crazy or like obsessive, but I think it's a little more common than we would like to admit, at least having those tendencies. Yeah,
because otherwise, like, what's the alternative? You have to kind of convince yourself or suppress how you really want things to be. That's the alternative. If you can't find exactly what you want, you have to kind of suppress that. So there's a desire there that's not being filled. Mm-hmm. And that might not always be a good thing.
Be my one and only true love. You must promise to love me. And damn it, if you fuck me over, I will rip your fucking face apart. High school sweethearts, line up. Not trying to waste my time. High school sweethearts, shut up if you're not my type. High school sweethearts, line up. Not trying to waste my time. High school sweethearts, shut up if you're.
And I love her movements because her movements are very high school. Like, you notice her movements, like when she was in front of the mirror before, I can almost visualize like a teenage character making those like movements where she did like the pumping of her chest. I don't know if you remember that, but like the entire video is like that, like her walking, trying to walk on the line on the floor and then having like that airplane movement. It's very, I don't want to say childish, it's very like young, it feels young or like teenage like, which I think fits the song High School Sweethearts.
I think she does a great job balancing innocence and being promiscuous, because you think of being in high school, you're young, but you're not young enough to not know what, falling in love means. And, this is the time when people tend to like experiment, right? And so it's interesting that she's singing about love, but at the same time, it's very, I wouldn't say dark, but it's not innocent, right? It's playful, but a little too intense. And so it's interesting that she's in this environment that's like all floral. But if you take a look at what she's wearing, there's a combination between like very princess like puffs on the shoulders, and then she has like, the almost like lingerie looking underwear. I forgot what those things are called. And then she has like pants on. It's just like a interesting combination of like being a princess, but also being like seductive, but also having pants on your legs, which kind of show like power. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's a take on both. I think she's all about duality, and that's why you have like the blonde hair and black hair. It almost represents like the princess like features, but also there's features of a witch in there. And like she has that dark side, which she even expresses in her lyrics, like I'll tear your fucking heart apart, which is usually not something a princess would say or do.
Yeah.
But it works because it's very untraditional.
High school sweethearts line up. They're trying to waste my time. High school sweethearts, shut up if you're not my type. Could you hold me through the night? Put your lips all over my eye. Salty face when I start crying. Could you be my first time? Eat me up like apple pie. Make me not wanna die. Love me rough and let me fly. Get me up, yeah, get me high. Tie me down, don't leave my side. Don't be a waste of my time. Can we just be honest? These are the requirements. If you think you can be my one and only true love, you must promise to love me. And damn it, if you fuck me over, I will rip your fucking face apart. High school sweethearts line up. They're trying to waste my time. High school sweethearts, shut up if you're not my type. High school sweethearts line up. They're trying to waste my time. High school sweethearts, shut up if you're not my type.
She's so interesting.
Yeah, she's so artsy.
Yeah, and there's no one like her.
Yeah.
Like, I love that, like, you can really see her uniqueness in her music, her lyrics. Like, you can see her personality shine through, like, the curse words in between, like, the really sweet lines.
Yeah, she's so different. As you said, she's so different. Like you can't compare. The only thing I could think about to even describe her in words, which is very hard to do, to describe someone like Melanie Martinez in words, but she's just very like Broadway, very theatrical, very artsy, creative, and art. Like you almost forget sometimes. Like it's easy for me to forget and think I'm watching a play because that's how she comes off. She makes it like a play. Like there's more to it than just the audio, because there's so much to see, like the whole scene, the way she moves, the choreography, like everything matches well. It's like watching like a Broadway musical. Not that that's something that I do regularly, but when I watch musicals, like it's kind of like this. Like even like back in the day when you'd watch cartoons and they'd have like a musical in the movie somewhere. Like in all the Disney movies, they usually have like some song in there somewhere.
Yeah, like a musical.
Right.
No, she's a trip, man. Like every time I watch her, it's truly an experience that you've never had before.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can say that a lot about artists today.
And it's funny because she doesn't, at least none that I've seen, like she doesn't have a lot of features. And I wonder because she's that unique, like you can't even throw someone in a song with her because
Right,
it's
it'd be
not gonna
off.
work. Yeah.
I want to say there's got to be features.
I mean, I would think so.
I
right?
wonder who
She did like a whole album, like that whole K-12 album was like just
her
I
features
think.
are. These like weird characters.
Yeah, I just haven't. Let me see. Right, just like no, not a lot, right?
I don't see any yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, that's so true.
Like she's legit like a
One woman
a
show.
one woman show, yeah. And I think that also, and it makes sense because like she probably doesn't want to change what she's doing, and you almost have to accommodate someone if like let's say like someone like I'm just gonna use a random artist like let's say someone like Nicki comes in, you almost have to accommodate someone like that.
It has to fit.
It has to fit, right? You can't just throw her in your shit like she's half of your music video because she's a prominent artist too.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why it's really good she keeps it this way because she's like she has more control. She doesn't have to accommodate anybody but herself, and it's fully customizable.
Yeah.
That's my theory on that.
She's like Gushers. Like you can't mix Gushers with like any other thing.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be on its own.